Yo, 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 Hollow Knight Nation! Yeah! Hollow Knight Nation. Hollow Knight Nation. Fuck, dude, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Only doing this because I have to. I have no desire to be playing right now. I don't care. I don't want to. I'd rather be doing anything else, really. I'm bored. Already, it is so boring. Holy shit, man. What is this fight, man? Like, look at that. And it's an undodgeable attack. It's just not fun. I hate this game so fucking much. What a chore. What a chore to play video games. Every other day. Oh my god, dude. I could have been like having socioeconomic discussions with my buds right now, man. I could be talking about like philosophy and shit, like what is to be alive and like to think, and cloning morality and shit. Now I'm sitting here instead playing stupid video games, having a bad time, not enjoying it. Hear that? Hear that? If I were to talk about actual boredom, I reached a stage in my project at the uni I'm at where we like making user tests on the product we've made, and that is some of the most boring, mind-numbing, horrible shit. Holy fuck, I hate it. I think it's because like two reasons mainly. The first one, the app isn't that interesting. It's like it's just like an app that's supposed to teach people how to sue, which is not really a topic that I'm that interested in. So already I've lost interest, and the app isn't all that good. It's like okay. The main flaw of the app, everything else is good enough. They said I don't know how to sue, and neither does anyone else really in my group. There's one person in my group who knows how to sue, and they made the tutorials. They aren't particularly good, or like good at teaching, which is kind of the point of the entire app. So it fails there. Then we made a second version of it because we wanted to compare the two versions. And the second version is just so obviously worse. Like it's just a worse product. Now we're going around testing it on people. Half them get like the mediocre, maybe a little bit bad app. The other half gets a really shitty app. And it's just not a fun time seeing people be dissatisfied with something I'm giving them. And some people are not dissatisfied. It is kind of fun. I'm being harsh because I just don't really care about suing. The boring part is that the test works in a way where we say hi, hello, how are you, give them a questionnaire, then I hand them my PC, or like my laptop, where they can answer a quick questionnaire. Then we give them our app, and to use our app for a bit. Then we ask them to sue something in real life using the knowledge gained from the app, like in the ways that the app taught them, to see if they learned something. And once they've done that, I give them my laptop again for them to like make another questionnaire. And then lastly, we have a quick interview where I ask some follow-up questions and like have a conversation about the app with them. And the last part is the only one where I'm actually doing something. For the entire rest of the app, like test, I'm just sitting there watching someone else like either sit on my laptop and answer questionnaires while like maybe mumbling to themselves, not saying anything. Or I'm watching them like use my app, which I've already seen people do for, at this point, 15 times. They're just playing with it, and then making the occasional comment saying this is kind of confusing, isn't it? And we're like, yep, we've been told. And it's so fucking boring. If I was running this as like an actual thing, if I cared about this as a product, I would be making like maybe one or two tests and then immediately iterating on the product and making a new product based on that feedback. But that's not the point of the test here. The tests are exclusively made for the report, so we get some data that you can write about and like make a proper evaluation, which is the most boring piece of shit, tedious reason for doing anything. It's for it to look good in the report. And that's why we also have to like get at least 10 people for each iteration of the test, like each variation. We have like 2 apps, one good, one ass. And so we need 20 tests total, and they take quite a long time. They take like 30 to 40 minutes because once again, like we give them a questionnaire that takes maybe like 5 to 10 minutes perhaps, like depending on who they are, maybe 5 minutes really. And then they go to use the app, which takes like maybe 10 minutes. And then they need to sue something, and that's where it really starts. So like, it's changing depending on who's testing it. Or it could take a shit ton of long time, or it could take no time at all. So we're testing on people who, some people already know how to sue, some people don't. And the people who do know how to sue often like breeze through that part, making it pretty like quick. Maybe like 10 minutes or 15, maybe 10 to 15. And some people really struggle with and hesitate a lot, trying to use the app to figure stuff out, and just kind of sit around for a lot of time not knowing what to do with them. They eventually do something, which at this point like has always ended up being a pretty like alright result. Like none of them have failed. It just all a matter of how long it takes them to fucking begin doing it, and then how long the process is. And that could take a while. And then once they've done that, again, I give them a laptop to do a questionnaire, finish that shit, which is basically like the same questionnaire that they already answered when they got there. But they're just like answering again to see if something's changed. Like, oh, this is how I'd rate my suing skills. And they try their app, do something in real life. And then they rate again. This is how I'd rate my suing skills. Now after using it. Very fucking simple. And it's super uninteresting for me because my job in this, again, I only do the interview at the end. But for the whole entire part, I need to sit there and look active and like respond to quick remarks. But it can't actually respond to very much because we need to test how good the app is at like explaining shit on its own. Like if they ask me how they do a suing thing, first of all, I don't know it. Like I don't know shit about suing. And second of all, I'm like, it's supposed to be the app that's teaching them this, and if they can't figure it out using the app, then that's a failure on part of the app. It needs to be written down and documented so we can put that in our discussion of the report. Meaning that any engagement between the user and me comes entirely in the interview, or if they start asking about other stuff, like maybe they just ask about my studies or like personal life or something. I don't know. Occasionally we've had just conversations to fill the gaps, because otherwise it's just like silence for 30 to 40 minutes as they answer questionnaires and start suing and using the app. Which is super boring, because for them it's like spending the time like trying a new app and seeing if they enjoy it and like blah blah blah. For me it's just watching them do that. On the other side of the table, like I can't really see what they're doing if they're on my laptop at all, because it's like turned against me. And if they're using the app, it's like upside down for me and I can't really see it. Some people hold it up in their hands, at that point I can't see it at all. Which is just, at that point I just need to like look into the air and do nothing, which is incredibly boring. Then once I have my like laptop, I still can like use that laptop to do anything particularly interesting. Still need to like pay kind of attention and be responsive, because if I'm sitting there like do fucking gaming, I don't know, it would be pretty obvious to them, I feel. And like super unprofessional, and they'd probably like lose motivation, and the test would be harmed for that. I don't know. Really not a fun process of testing them. There's also a problem with our study group, like our target audience, I think it's called. Oh shit. Is women aged like below 35 and above 18. Which means that we're mostly testing on women. And when I say mostly, we're exclusively testing on women, because that's our target audience. Studies show that they are the main quote-unquote culprit of textile waste, and they're also the people who have the most interest in suing and shit. So that's where it's our target audience for this app, right? Meaning you need to find only women and test them. I'm going on like a technology study, like computer science-ish. There's some designing in it as well, but generally the male to woman ratio is comically skewed towards men. At this point, it's been like kind of a struggle finding the 15 participants that we've found so far. But I just know that tomorrow, or like not tomorrow, but Monday, it's gonna be a fucking pain to like find that last 5 that we need in order to like satisfy our supervisor. He told us that like 10 for each is the minimum. And I'm just not excited for that. It's gonna be, so I really hate going around trying to find people to test on. I don't know why I hate it so much. I guess I'm just kind of like shy or introverted. I just don't want to go up to random people and ask them shit. Like ask stuff of them. It's been like a rough like rejection therapy almost of me going around to people and saying, hey, can I talk for a second? Hello, I'm trying to test this app. Any one of you be willing to try it out? And then they're like, I don't know, maybe. How long does it take? And like 30 or 40 minutes. And they're like, no, that's way too long, sorry. And I say, that's fair, and I leave. And it's generally like a completely fine experience. Just walk up, see if anyone's interested. I've started like mostly just telling them the time outright, and they can immediately say no if they don't want to do that, because I don't want to scam them. And it's like, oh, it's a quick test, sure, I'll do that. And it turns out to be 40 minutes long. No, that'd be mean. But yeah, my point is, once like I've told them the stitch, a lot of them just say no outright, and it's fine. They're pretty kind about it. No one's being an asshole. It's like you or something. I don't know why I would assume they'd be an asshole when I asked. I wouldn't be an asshole, but I also wouldn't want to test the app based on the knowledge I know. Like, oh, it's a 30-minute app about stewing. If someone asked me if I want to do that, I'd say no. I don't want to do that. So it's hard for me to go up to people and ask, hey, do you want to test this thing? When I know that I wouldn't want to. Now, we have had people who are genuinely interested and genuinely looking to participate. And it's always sad if they fall into the second half of the user groups, like the participant groups, the ones who are getting the worst version of the app. Like testing how valid sequential learning is. This doesn't really matter. But the point is, we have made two different variations of the app, and one has a specific feature that we believe to be very good, and our studies tell us that these are very good. Research tells us this is a very good mechanic, and we're testing whether or not that's true. That's kind of the point of this paper, this report, is to verify existing work in using the actual expert in this app. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes people who are really interested and like want to learn get that shitty version of the app, and they just like point out all the flaws, and we're like, yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, it's like, it's good enough, cool, if they're pointing out the things that we want to point out ourselves, so that gives us like more validity in our report, I guess. We can quote them on that and stuff, but it's still kind of sad just seeing them having a harder time with something that I've made because I intentionally made it worse to testing purposes. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy showing people stuff that I've made and having them not like it, even if it is intentional. I also don't like sitting in the chair looking like into the wall doing nothing for 30 to 40 minutes. I also don't really like that. And that's like the two things that's been happening today and yesterday. It's going to be happening on Monday as well. That's been my life. Really not particularly fond of my study because of that. It's just not in my area of interest. I thought when I started this study, it's kind of like a computer science with an asterisk because it has a lot of other stuff. So higher focus on like designing and user testing and like data management. It's kind of like you learn how to develop an app and stuff, like develop in some programming, but you also learn all this other shit around doing that, like designing and testing and shit. It's supposed to give you the full package, allow you to be more flexible for what you want to do in the future, and like give you become like kind of a jack of all trades kind of guy. And I thought that'd be kind of sick because I do potentially tend to like a lot of different stuff. My interests are often very varied, and I enjoy being a little bit good at everything. But I've turned out that the things that I was like a little bit good at on a university level, like learning how to get good at them, I really don't like. Making proper designs, so it's like, I like designing, it's creative, it's cool. And I'm learning how like the actual, let's call like lore behind it, and it becomes less interesting, far less interesting to study. And also actually doing it turns out to be not as interesting as I kind of thought when I was just doing it offhandedly. Like making tests and user tests and shit, when you have like you need to use official test that you find online with a lot of research to find something that someone else has already made, like a specific scientific paper vouches for this specific test that they've made, that's when you're allowed to use it, if it's peer reviewed and all that, blah, blah, blah. If you have a test you want to make on your own that you design yourself, it's not really good enough. You need something to back it up. Which I guess is conceptually cool, that you're only really using stuff that has been proven or scientifically vouched for, if that makes sense. I don't know how the like English word for it is. Conceptually, pretty cool, you know, makes it the entire test valid, that I can confidently say that this test proves this and that because I'm using the test format that's been developed by this guy, and it's good because of these and these reasons. You can read more about it in his own paper than I look to that. That's pretty smart. I recognize the value of having defined user engagement questionnaires and shit. But I can also recognize the fucking chore it is to look through shit and find a test that you don't really feel like it fits perfectly. And yeah, I don't like that. I don't like using other people's shit. I've always enjoyed mostly making stuff kind of from scratch. I don't know if it's called like originality or if it's just like me. I just preferring to have worked with shit more. It's also like how I try to like run D&D. I don't really steal a lot of material. Maybe I should. I've heard a lot of people talk about how that's a good idea. I don't. Whenever it comes to programming, and a lot of people just kind of copy shit from Stack Overflow or find like good libraries for everything. For ChatGPT, of course, but I have always just preferred to do shit from scratch without help. Even if it becomes a worse product or a worse experience, it's just something that fills me with a bit like more pride, I guess. Using tutorial kind of makes me sad. And nothing in this fucking report has been done on my own. I need to find vouching for everything. I need to prove that it's good by copying from other people all the time. And I don't really like that. It makes sense, but I don't like that. I feel like I'm learning less. I like making something on my own, and then afterwards maybe looking at what the optimal build was, and then making this like a second version that is using that, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird character trait of mine, but it's not very. It doesn't fit well with academic literature, unfortunately, and writing reports and shit. It's called, not a report, maybe. I don't know. So that's not been fun. Yesterday and today I've been all out testing these long ass tests where I have to like walk around and find the women who are willing to test. A lot of like rejection therapy, and it's sad because I find like there's less and less left to ask. Started going to different floors and asking people we don't really talk to normally, and it's just not. Been super fun. It's not even like getting the rejections that is annoying. Also just finding someone, actually finding them, and then dreading what comes next, which is me sitting for like going to get like 30 to 40 minutes doing nothing as they test and shit. I suppose it's worse for my co-worker, like my group partner, whose job it is to like take notes on the whole thing. He's just gonna like, he sits next to the participant for the entire duration and just writes like down on his laptop anything he finds noteworthy, like, you know, to like make sure that we have some data and like communicate any interesting thoughts or ideas that they communicate, like write that down. So he has to pay a lot more attention and actually like follow the entire thing and write shit down. Maybe that's more tedious. As opposed to me, whose only purpose is to be kind of the face, you know, talk to the person, get them. I'm the one who asks, hey, you want to join this test? And once they do, if they have any questions, they ask me. I'm the one who leads the interview and stuff like that. I'm like the charisma builder. Well, he actually does the work. And I just lay back doing nothing for the entire duration of the test, basically. Then again, it's like one of the things I hate most is also just not doing things. This entire 2 days have been me making something that is basically just copying other people's works because that's how you're supposed to do it, and then testing in a way that I don't like doing because it's just bureaucracy. I need 20 tests for it to look good on my paper. I don't need them for actual purpose, like development purposes, which I don't like. And then I need to make a test where I've designed it so that I sit and do nothing for 30 minutes staring at a wall, occasionally answering people's questions and like respond to criticism or praise. Which I don't like. I don't like receiving praise or criticism. I don't know, man. I'm hard to please. I am kind of reacting a little bit and sitting out because sitting in my chair doing nothing for half an hour isn't really that bad. You know, I can do that. It sucks, but like I just sit in my own mind and kind of think about other stuff. Whenever I catch myself truly disconnecting and thinking about things that I actually like, maybe like imagining the next session of the D&D campaign, or like maybe in my head prepping an encounter that could be fun in DM again and shit. I can do that, but whenever I like actively notice, oh shit, I've completely disconnected, I kind of force myself to go back into reality and look at what they're doing and maybe respond a little bit, like make sure that they know I'm paying attention. Look at this. It's not just you being forced to use an app and pursue something without anyone looking. I don't know. It would feel me, like if me personally, if I showed up and tested some guys' design for an app, took a long ass time, and I look up to see what they're doing, and they're just sitting, looking at the laptop, clearly like fucking playing Wordle or some shit. I'd be pretty discontent. I feel like I just want to get it over with too, because it's clearly what they're conveying. You know, if I look like I'm not having a good time, I'm bored out of my mind, they're probably going to be bored out of their mind as well, you know. But if I look passionate and interested in what they're doing and respond lightheartedly at their criticism, blah blah blah, they might have a better time, and I want to give them a good time. I don't feel like I'm taking time away from their own projects to test on us. I don't want to like be an asshole and just fucking be bored. I don't know. It's an annoying process. I think I've complained about it enough. That's the only thing I can really talk about happily though. I think. What else have I got? Finished DLC for Rain World, The Watcher. I really liked it. It's exactly what I was hoping for. A bunch of like new regions and creatures to explore, to learn. It gave me the same awesome feeling of like being confused and wondering, like excited in the beginning. Kind of like when I first played Rain World, just confused, frustrated, and excited, and like anticipating interesting stuff. Except this time I'm really fucking good at the movements, like, and the controls don't feel clumsy, but like the opposite. I really like the movement in Rain World once I get to know it. So I'm just exploring new environments, meeting new creatures, not understanding what's going on, and just having a good ass time, enjoying every moment, like just exploring. I don't really care what the story is. It'll come around at some point. I'll just keep exploring, keep surviving, keep learning about creatures and environments. It's a really good time. And then at some point, I get further and realize like, oh shit, there's stuff I can do here, and get some new abilities and get some more kind of lore, and it just gets better and better. New environment, holy shit, there's a lot of environments. I love this. Explored a lot of them to the fullest, but at this point, it becomes so easy to swap between the environments really quickly. And so I just do that, going to new environment, like new region after region after region, not really exploring them that much, just seeing all this new cool shit, new creatures, new fun things, new mechanics, playing with each other. That's awesome. I've just started like second playthrough with a friend. It's gonna be co-op. I just missed every single fucking thing. Holy. But yeah, I really like the Watcher DLC. The new regions and creatures was the exact thing I was hoping for. New mechanics to play around with, new creatures to kind of understand, and figure out how I can benefit from them, perhaps, or just like overcome them with this like annoying creature. that has been super fun. As far as I understand, a lot of people actually really didn't like the DLC. I think largely because its predecessor, the Downpour DLC, they have like significantly more content that was a lot more digestible, I guess. Also, like it was just pure fun. New creatures with superpower, like new main characters with more specific stories. They all were like super fun in their own way, having different abilities, emphasizing different things about the game, and showing more complete narratives and exploring, which I think a lot of people really like. Whereas the Watch DLC is just this like confusing and frustrating and as weird as original Rain World, which some people are not really liking. But I think it's kind of the charm of it. It's like I feel like the new DLC is more Rain World than the old DLC. If that makes sense. I think it does, and I really like it. Now, some like a really valid complaint that I completely understand is the complaint that they've just a lot of the new regions they've added are just modded research like regions that other people have made. That they've just kind of copy pasted into their world, made maybe some minute changes. I don't know. Honestly, probably not. And for people who's already played a lot of modded and like with those regions, I can totally understand if they are not a fan of the DLC. If, like a significant portion of it is just something they've already done because it's a mod they've already played. Something that used to be free and now it's suddenly paid for. Probably still is free if you just go use the mods. Totally valid criticism. I really fortunately hadn't played a lot of modded regions. I played some modded Slotcat and done some other stuff, mods, but it's mostly been co-op and some quality of like, just aesthetic things. Like I used the More Blood mod, and I think I did some custom Slotcats, custom environment once, but none of it transferred into the Washington thing. So what's the problem for me? But yeah, I don't know. I really like the DLC. There's a second ending that I haven't gotten to that I'm like trying to reach with my friend now. I'm sad about that. Generally, Rain World is like one of the best co-op games in my opinion. I think it's super fun to play with friends, but I guess most games are, so it's hard to say. Co-op is just a really fucking cool ass game mode. But Rain World specifically, I find is elevated a lot by playing with friends. There's like 2 people specifically I think is the best amount. More people can also be fun, but just as a pair, 2 Slotcats roaming around, walking around finding food, occasionally find a monster, one of them gets caught, oh no, the second one can still go get them, which is really cool. Like save them, and you need to both be there when you sleep, otherwise you will fail, so you kind of emphasize to like, if your buddy gets snatched, you take a huge risk, desperate try to like get him back, costing everything, you know, you're playing really cautiously until your buddy gets catched. If you don't catch him back, game over, right? I think that's super fun. Create these awesome stories, these hectic moments of relative calm, you're just chilling with your bro, talking, having a good time, finding food or whatever, navigating, and then suddenly a hectic situation where something unexpected occurred, some creatures found you, your buddy got snatched, and you desperately have to fight and like find and fight the creature that got him and ditch. Great time. With Watcher, so far it's been that exact same experience where me and my bud just talking, something crazy happens, and it's awesome. Kind of reminds me a little bit, strange connection here, but like those battleground games, like kind of like PUBG and Fortnite and shit. Specifically, I played a lot of Apex and PUBG. It reminds me a lot of that feeling when you're just chilling with a buddy, having a good talk, and with like downtime, you're looting, you're traveling, making short-term like plans, like long-term plans. Like, let's go here, let's loot over here, the circle's coming in, let's go there. There's a relative calm experience, fun time, talking with a friend, and then suddenly, ambush, we're getting attacked, hectic experience, when this goes down, you have this epic fight, desperately try to save your buddy, and it's super hectic all of a sudden. When you're done with it and it's awesome, you can talk about how awesome it was with a friend and more downside. I kind of like that with multiplayer games where there's a lot of downtime and then something crazy happens unexpectedly. I don't know, it's not that exact format. feel like those two games, Rain World, co-op, and Battleground games, what are they called? Battle Royale, yeah. As opposed to other games like CS:GO or other shooters that are, in my opinion, like what I perceive them as to be just more focused on the game specifically. You're not really talking about other shit while playing it. You're focusing in on kind of constant action. I think like in some games like CS:GO and Rainbow Six Siege and shit, there is downtime as well. While you're waiting for the enemy, you're getting yourself into position. So maybe it is the same thing, just in a more condensed format. But I don't know. I haven't really been interested in those games. I played Rainbow Six Siege for a while, but it was alone, and it was a super fucking awful experience. I don't know why I kept at it for so long. I was just a child and I got the game for like birthday or something. Just didn't want to like waste it. Like, if I had a game, I was gonna play it, no matter if I liked it or not. Nowadays, when I'm with significantly more money and significantly less time, I struggle to get that same commitment from games, even if I really do want to play them. Too many games, too little time. And that's the truth. Oops. 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 Alright, I beat the guy. And my throat is dry. Am I gonna beat this boss? I guess I'll try. Fuck, I wanna die. Did I already say that? Fuck. I've been watching the, I always loved like the one YouTuber, the Slansical, Charlie Slansical. I'm watching his D&D podcast now, Just Roll With It. Their new campaign, Wanderlust, is, I find it to be really good, genuinely interesting. I've always struggled to be interested in other people's campaigns, especially like in podcasts. I just don't care. Playing D&D is one of the most awesome experiences, but watching other people play it, but their new campaign, Wanderlust, super fucking good. I think a lot of it is coming from Charlie, like Slansical being like one of my favorite YouTubers. He's super funny. He's playing a character called Troy that is just a genuinely bad person, and it's comically bad, like High School Musical type bad. And I think that's a funny gimmick that I don't really see a lot. He definitely made a truly flawed character, and he's sticking to that bit a lot and just doing goofy shit that only that awful person would do. Secondly, the reason why I started talking about this is because like Charlie's really good at like rhyming and like making quick bits, like puns and shit. Which is, I don't know, it's always been like something that cracks me up. It's a good bit. I can't really do it myself. I want to learn how to do that. So, like take inspiration, start like making quick puns every now and again, rhymes. I feel like it's a good bit. I mean, I love it a bit, so I want to do it. I suppose it's maybe harder for someone to do in their second language. I should like probably start practicing in Danish. I don't know, man. Puns are cool. And the show's really good. They have like 22 episodes. Last time they uploaded was like 3 weeks ago, which is annoying because there's like a good portion of time when they uploaded weekly, and I love that. And I was hoping they would kind of keep doing that. But they have not, which is just kind of stopped in a really interesting spot. It kind of feels like the ending of the campaign, like sooner at least. Like enemies pretty much defined now, and stakes are clear, goals in sight. Feels like they're just about to reach the climax of the story, and I love it. It's so good. It's super good. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from it for how I want to run campaigns in the future, and also how I want to play as characters in the future. Because these characters, one thing I've noticed that interests me is that whenever they speak of their characters, at least Charlie, and also sometimes the others, they rarely say I. They never say I do this. They do sometimes, but a lot more often they just say the name of their characters. They say Troy does this or Troy does that. And I feel like Troy has this intention of doing this and blah blah blah, which I find interesting. They kind of detach themselves verbally from the character, and whenever like that character Troy does something truly horrendous and awful, it's clear that it's not like, I don't know, it feels to me an interesting way of running things where disconnecting yourself from your character verbally might make it easier to do stupid, outrageous shit that your character would do, but not yourself, right? That is something that might be a struggle. I don't know, sometimes I feel like, because I'm kind of playing an evil-ish character myself right now. In his eyes, he's truly not that evil, but he's definitely against some relatively good people at a certain time. And I struggle to do like truly horrendous stuff, and whenever I talk as him, I often just pretend that I'm still good and like make reasonable arguments every now and again. I say things that are kind of smart, which doesn't really make sense because my character is not smart and he's not reasonable, which is kind of the hard thing to act, because I don't know. To me, I feel like it's more fun and normal to be reasonable. Maybe not more fun, but that's just my normal state of mind. I try to be, at least. And then whenever I play this character, I kind of shouldn't. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But is, their campaign is really good. I'm getting inspired. I want to start being more unhinged with my character. And I think maybe a good way of doing that is to detach myself from them a bit. Instead of saying I, say the person. Do more internet connected role playing. Another thing I found is that the characters, at least Slimesicle's character, the one that I'm most interested in, has a tendency, like, he's a really awful guy, but he has kind of like committed himself to the squad. Like, yeah, we're a team completely. It's like one of his, like, maybe his only redeeming quality is that he's very loyal to his team. Appears to be, at least. He would sacrifice himself for the others, which is an interesting kind of flip towards his character. Who clearly isn't that good enough. And that like commitment to the others and that like care kind of makes their roleplay, their connections, their exchanges a lot more interesting. That's the main problem that I have in the campaign that I'm currently playing in as a character, that we've had as a problem in the campaign for a long time, is that our characters are super disconnected. They don't give a shit about any of each other. They're like barely just being around each other just kind of because we need them to. If we played the characters as they were to be played, they wouldn't be friends, they just leave. And I think that's a really, really bad thing. And that makes me curious, like maybe if we had a character who desperately longed for them to stay together, that would be a good enough reason to do so, you know? And Troy, despite him being like a truly awful person that might drive people away, is that person who desperately like forces himself into that situation, like, and stays there, and, you know? I don't know. Food for thought. Make characters who want to be around the other characters. Seems like an obvious fucking thing to say, but yeah, maybe make it a stronger value for them. One of the greatest reasons for the disconnect in my campaign, or like the one I'm playing in, is that our characters have two of our characters have very specific goals, and that's me and another character called fucking, damn, I forget, that's awkward. Radbach. And that is basically just becoming the ruler of some place. But the problem is that each our places are like in entirely different fucking, like, and they're at war, they're like very much against each other. So I can support this guy and like his ambition. He wants to be this guy, hell fucking yeah. Turns out he wants to support the enemy government. Oh, I can't really help you with that. I want to help them. Although we can like, if we were to both of us become rulers of the two opposing governments, we could end the war because we know each other and like each other. So we do want the other to ascend, and we want to help each other because that would benefit ourselves as well. We both have sympathy for each other's causes and understand each other, and have great use for like some peace like that. But the way to go about both of us getting to power completely differentiates themselves. Because like, for me to become respectable in my like tribe that I live in is to fucking kill the people who invaded us. Like I want to like prove myself strong enough to defend stuff and like, you know, get revenge. That's kind of the main thing. But if I want to get revenge, that means I need to hurt the enemy government, like, hurt the enemy army. The other guy is trying to befriend and trying to help them and trying to do good deeds to get himself known among the people so they'll elect him. And immediately, that's like a huge conflict of interest where I want to hurt the enemy as much as possible, and he wants to help the enemy as much as possible. So while our characters like each other and wishes the best for each other, the way we want to get about our goals is completely polar opposite. Now, luckily that kind of changed when we, due to like just kind of metagamed our characters into a back alley by saying yes to a stupid fucking quest that was all about a guy who wants to create the world's first nuclear bomb using dragon tears, and both of our characters would hate for that to happen. The one guy, like, he's not a bad person, he doesn't want a nuclear bomb to exist in the world. And my character wouldn't want a nuclear bomb in the hands of my enemies, right? None of us would have wanted to do that. But we kind of just decided to ignore that factor, you know, that obvious fact that we wouldn't want to do that, and did that anyway, because we decided that would be a good way to unify our characters. If we both fucked up, made a mistake that accidentally created a nuclear bomb that killed a bunch of my people, I would be super fucking mad and distraught, and he would be super fucking mad and distraught as well, because he realizes, holy fuck, I am guilty in this massacre. And then we'd help each other destroy the government, kind of out of vengeance, also because it needs to be destroyed if it allows people to create nukes and destroy that many people. I don't know, that was the kind of the plan. Then the bomb got made and it malfunctioned. So it didn't kill my people, it killed the enemy people entirely. They were like a little single city that invaded into my character's people's country, and the entire city got wiped off the face of the map immediately with that nuke. And that was not what we expected. We expected the bomb to kill my people, and I was going to be the one sad about that, and his character would have been feeling guilty about that, but, you know, ultimately it wasn't really his people. It's super fucking funny that it was not what happened. Does kind of leave some heavy consequences though, because my character's main shtick was he wanted to get rid of the human threat that had invaded his lands, and with the nuclear bomb, that's been completed. He's done. He succeeded in his goal. It wasn't really intentional. So he doesn't really feel satisfied. He's got like two things he wants. First is to save his people. Second is to be known to have saved his people. He wants the recognition. He's very egotistical in that sense. Definitely wants to be known. Like, he'd rather be known than, like, he'd rather be respected than to actually be respectable, if that makes sense. You know, if he were to save the world in secret, he wouldn't like that. You know, he wouldn't even do that. If the alternative was to make everyone think he saved the world, but actually not doing that. That's kind of like the main shtick. He's really fucking desperate for that intention. Kind of just want to make him an egotistical asshole in that sense. But an egotistical asshole with a really good cause. Like, yeah, sure, he's doing it for recognition. He's doing it for the selfish reasons of his, like, to suit his own pride. But he is doing something good. He is, like, saving his people from an invasion. And he is among the only people who can do that, you know? So, while he might be an asshole, due to the current situation he's in, the circumstance, he is a hero, and he loves to that. He's not actually a villain. He's perfectly great hero, super confident, super like passionate and righteous hero. He's only really righteous because it aligns, you know. If there were no war, if there were no struggle, he would be a villain. He would be causing that struggle to get recognition. In this case, he can be a hero, right? Problem is, now that enemy threat has been removed entirely, and it wasn't really his doing. Kind of was. He was helped cause the bomb, but not many people really know that, and he doesn't really recognize it as him. He like recognizes that as the person who built the bomb killed themselves and the entire city. So he doesn't really feel like he's accomplished his goal of, you know, becoming a hero by destroying the human threat. So that's where his character is now. And the other character who's supposed to be the king of this, that's just his goal. He wanted to be the king of this city. Now the city is gone, so he's distraught and completely crippled. Like, not actually crippled, but emotionally crippled. Like, what's he gonna do now? That was his entire shtick. We both kind of lost our purpose. And so we just kind of left. I mean, we're still alive. We've got to do something. We decided to like go and find the people who were responsible for that. My character decided to that he'd seen enough of the humans to like he could never go back. You know, they have much greater technology. They have guns. They have nuclear bombs at this point. While his people are still running around with spears and sticks and stones and shit. So he's gonna explore the world and figure out, find some technology that he can bring back home to his people, and then earn recognition by, you know, bringing back an arsenal of weapons and shit. That's another way of getting power, I guess. And then kind of conquering the rest of them. That's his vague goal. And now they're outside in the real world, and they figure out from some NPCs that this city might not be the last. You know, there's the first attempt, but they might just come back to these enemy. The actual country that sent this city, called Cali. My character obviously does not want that, so he immediately goes on the offensive to try to stop them. Then we find people who are actively fighting against Cali, called Anti-Cal. And my character's like, holy fuck, great, I'll join you guys. Holy shit, yeah, we're friends. But there's a third member of the party that I haven't talked about yet, who's like a bounty hunter who lives in Cali, and who lives there. He's kind of like just a normal dude from there, relatively normal. He's like a murderer. His job is killing people, so you know he's not that normal. He of course does not want to just become a terrorist against the country he lives in. And now that's the next struggle, because earlier the struggle was that my character wanted to attack the alien enemy who's invaded my land. Problem is, the other players did not want to do that, or at least one other player did not want to do that because it was his land. And now I'm coming in to their land, wanting to attack it, but another player does not want to do that because it's his land. He doesn't want to do that. Again, it's kind of the same thing. And so there's like this clear disconnect. There's been this entire time where everyone, at least at some point, has figured that, holy shit, maybe my character just does not fit here. Like, I'm kind of talking about it from my perspective, but I'm not the only like wrenching thing. The other characters have different dynamics that makes them really the opposite of coherent. What do I want to call it? Adhesive. I think it's adhesive. And I think that's a really strange made-of-learning campaign. And that has been an annoying factor that we've just completely been in shambles. I don't like the guy who's currently the main, like my main quote-unquote antagonist among the party, my rival perhaps, the one who lives in Kelly and does not want to be a terrorist. He is a much less redeemable in my character's eyes, because the first guy who wanted to be king, he did want to like make genuine systemic change to make the lives of both people better. He and I, if we were to ascend both thrones, we could make like a fucking paradise where both peoples benefited from each other, and it'd be great. So I respected the other guy. He was like all about intelligence, and he showed me a lot of like science, helped me learn things, and blah blah blah, helped my character learn things. Super cool dynamic. Both wanting to support each of their own peoples, but being able to befriend each other anyways. The new guy, or not the new guy, the other guy who lives in Cali and is not like wanting to change Cali at all. That's the problem. He doesn't want to change it at all. He's like completely fine with the system as is because he's benefiting from it. And therefore, of course, does not want to become a terrorist against it. My character finds him much less like, forgivable, if that makes sense. Like, oh my god, I'm taking so much damage. Also because he's just like a genuine, like a huge fucking murderer. He's killed so many of my people, like instantly, and anytime there's any encounter, he is the guy with the gun. His entire shtick is that he has a gun and he shoots the gun. I wouldn't really say he's murder hobo, but he is like stat-wise, he's been designed to be really good at killing, and that is also his personality, like his backstory shtick, that this guy is really good at killing people. So, you know, he tends to kill people, which is a pretty immoral thing to do, honestly. My character is not that morally upright, of course, but it's easy to take the moral high ground against him, of all people, because he's just a murderer. Claims himself immortal because he kills so many people and shit. So, you know, so far in the campaign, when we were in like my people's mountain range, we fought a lot of my people's soldiers, and fought, I kind of just scared them off. I didn't kill a single one, of course, but he fucking did not care. I had to beg and plead for him to not kill people each and every time, and it was a difficult fucking hassle, and he often just killed them anyway. And now we're in his place, and he doesn't want to kill people, but my character really wants to kill people, so I guess it's like another wrench in things, where I'm super fucking justified in like slaughtering civilians if I wanted to. Because the same thing has been happening against me, so of course I can do that. But of course he doesn't want to let me do that, because it's his civilians now. And that's like the thing, ideally these two characters would just leave each other. Actually, what would probably be the most sane thing for both of them to do is to try to kill each other. The murderer guy, whose job is to kill people, the bounty hunter, would probably just try to kill my character, and his name is Argon. While my character would recognize this guy as a great fucking threat against his own people and a huge ally to the enemy government. Because he's like a super powerful guy who supports them and, you know, so just a supporter of the enemy cause. Would probably want to kill this guy. He also like proven himself to be completely apathetic towards my own cause and shit. I don't know. That's what I'm talking about, like super fucking not at all coherent team at all. And I think maybe a lot of that is because none of us have any motivation to stay together really, other than just kind of, hey, we're a party because we've been together. Like, all of us were ambushed by the same people in the beginning of the campaign, and we've just walked around together ever since. My character benefits greatly from being around them because we're in the human world now. I don't really know my way around it, so I'll tag along because they can show me the guy. They did the same when we were in my world. I showed them around kind of as their guide. So that's the only reason we really need each other, because we kind of need help navigating from each other. Not what I'd call great character motivation. Kinda have to focus here. It's gonna be a struggle. Damn, like, why did they do that? Alright. Whoa, what the fuck? I misclicked. That sucks. Ah, shit. Is it gonna hit me? Oh, right, it just falls quicker than I can hit it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a difficult fight. Makes sense to lose there. Alright, well, that's it for today.